Alright everyone, I'm going to open up a tab here really quickly because it's literally surreal. It has to be read verbatim in order for you to understand maybe why this is so fucking funny. This is from the Huffington Post. Now supposedly they're journalistic, supposedly this is a credible media outlet. That 25 million YouTube is throwing at supposedly authoritative firms, I'll give you better than 50-50 odds Huffington Post is part of that. I can almost guarantee you HuffPo will have a seat at the table. Should they? No, absolutely not. They're not a journalistic firm. They are a tabloid at this point. They're no better than the Inquirer, but they've managed to convince some people that they are. They're young and hip and stuff, even though they're not. They're basically like the left-wing Breitbart, actually, when you think about it. Or actually, I'd say the left-wing Blaze. Now, Salon's more like the Blaze, like smaller and even more shitty. Huffington Post is at least good enough to be compared with, you know, Post-Ban and Breitbart. So it's pretty funny. Let's read through a little bit of this. Because just let me read it. The hunt for every Trump reporter's white whale, the elevator tape. All your favorite media outlets plus Tom Arnold are racing to find a damning tape that may not even exist. Now, if you read this article, or if you look at the tweet that they made about it, basically they're saying, hey, we've heard that there might be a tape of Trump doing something in an elevator. We're not sure what that is, when it was made, we're not sure if it even exists. This is still newsworthy, though, because it's Donald Trump. Can you say Trump derangement syndrome? So, in other words, you have no evidence of anything. You've got a claim by, like, Tom Arnold or whoever that there's a tape of Trump doing something nefarious. But you can't tell anything else about it, and yet you managed to write, like, a 5-fucking-page article about it? So it'd be like me saying, hey, I think that there might be a tape of the Huffington Post staff involved in a cannibalistic orgy over in Burma where they rape and mutilate several children. I can't provide the tape, I don't even know if it's real, but that's just what I've heard. It's them doing stupid shit. I think there might be a tape of the leader of Huffington Post smoking crack out of a dead person's skull. It's the same fucking thing. How is that newsworthy, and how is it journalism to report on it if you have no tangible lead? At that point, it's nothing more than wanton speculation. It's yellow journalism, which is to say not journalism at all. It's a hit piece. Now, because it's Donald Trump, of course, there's nothing to be done about it. He's an elected official. It's been ruled on, you know, multiple times. The slander laws that normally apply don't really apply to an elected official. I, by the way, agree with that. I think that it's, you know, it's fairly self-explanatory. Even some of the lefties that were on the Twitter thread here were like, hey, this doesn't sound like legit news. Like, there's no actual news in it. Like, it's not news because you don't have anything. There's no tape. You're just saying that someone claims that there's a tape of it. What is he supposedly doing? You know what I think it is? It's a tape of Donald Trump and Nigel Farage get in the elevator with some, like, liberal staff. And they fart and right as it opens, and then they quickly close it up, and they have to go like 20 floors further, and then it's just Trump and Nigel Farage laughing like hyenas. That's what I think it is. That's probably true. So you're saying, I think the intonation is it's probably a tape of him like sexually assaulting someone in an elevator. I highly doubt that. Now, this sounds like the sort of rumor that the Weekly World News would cook up. By the way, it's playing into Trump's hands. Again, he knows how to deal with tabloids. He is a New York, Manhattan businessman, very much in the limelight. He's been very much in Hollywood. He does wrestling and pageantry and things of that nature, and The Apprentice. You are not going to be able to out-tabloid Donald Trump, and he's probably laughing at this story right now, because it's an easy win for him. It's an easy win when people dig this deep into the bottom of the barrel to try to attack him. You're not talking about the Trump-Putin summit, the treason summit they're calling it, which is fucking hilarious. Not talking about North Korea, not talking about taxes, jobs, anything that anyone gives a fuck about. No, it's a non-existent elevator tape. You know what I'm going to say? The tape doesn't exist. There's no tape, no scandal, and he did nothing wrong. Once again, you are making a claim with zero evidence whatsoever that Trump did something nefarious. This time it's so out there, you can't even tell us what that something supposedly is. Again, where's the news? That's like, this is like the weird side of YouTube extrapolated to the legacy media. This is the sort of thing you would normally get from, you know, when you're looking up like, you know, maybe some science or something, you're looking up Yellowstone, and then 5 related videos later, you're looking up a documentary about the Anunnaki or something. That's sort of the place you would expect to have this sort of thing presented as though it was legit news. oh, well, an unnamed source's cousin's unnamed source says that something happened involving Donald Trump. It's big news, trust me, once we get more info. And it always turns out that there's no additional info. The original claim was always false. This happens over and over. It's like when you see any permutation of all caps spam sort of titles on YouTube, it's like, boom, Hillary Clinton will be indicted for treason, caught in public bathroom negotiating with reptilian space aliens for the surrender of Earth's nuclear stockpile. And it's like it never ends up happening. It's just a cock tease. It's a cock tease for people who are low info and they want sensationalism. It's tabloid stuff. It's also very lucrative. That's the one thing maybe that's spammy enough so that maybe it should be cracked down on a little bit. Oh, well then Huffington Post, let's deplatform them. Their domain registrar should kick them off for libel or something. That would be a funny one. I think Google's probably their domain registrar, which would be the funniest of all. It's like, okay, you platform propaganda. Oh my God, we got to get the Soccer Moms League involved. I'm just joking. I don't believe in deplatforming anyone, no matter how viciously stupid it is, and Huffington Post is pretty close to the top of that list. But let's make this clear. When you have a story that is essentially, there might be a tape of something somewhere, but we're not sure if it even exists. That is not any form of journalism. Can you imagine if Fox News put out a report like this? Oh, there might be a tape of Hillary Clinton beating off in a graveyard or something. You'd all be dogpiling them and saying, well, this is a hit piece, this is low, this is not journalism, it's substandard and unintellectual, unenlightened garbage and swill. Yeah, it would be. Yeah, and I would call them out at that point too, and I have had to call people out for that before. The weird side of YouTube spawns such sensationalism from time to time. This is the Huffington Post. Supposedly it's kind of credible. Now, I never thought that. I've always thought it was just an alt-left, politically intimidating rag tabloid that goes after YouTubers because it can't compete with us. But some people think that they're credible, so maybe they should get that illusion out of their mind. So the elevator tape. Does it exist? What does it show? Nobody's fucking sure because it's not real. It's like, hey, I know what created the universe, but I can't show it to you. I don't have a name for it. I don't know what form it's in. I don't know anything about it. I just sort of feel it. And it's sort of a hunch that I have. Well, that's not evidence of anything, and it's not journalistic in its sentiment. You know, you make that, when you drag religion in, people get a little bit touchy about it. Okay, anything else, any wild claim under the sun that you can make about a politician or public official, insert that here into this article. If it was a Democrat or a liberal or something, Huffington Post would be calling it out as, yellow journalism. But that's exactly what you're doing. It's the same thing. That's about all. Peace out.